We are excited that you are excited to be there.
That's terrific. My first question is, do civilizations on other star systems still have a zodiac system?
Well, obviously, they sometimes will recognize that they can impose patterns on the stars, but not many of them express the idea of the zodiac in the way that your planet does.
Okay.
At least none that we've encountered so far.
So that's like a unique thing to Earth here?
Relatively, in the way that you express it, yes.
Okay.
Others can recognize the idea of the reflective nature of those patterns being a reflection of different levels of their collective or individual consciousness. But the way that many people on your planet interpret this, as you call in a zodiac format, is relatively unique.
Okay. My next question is, I understand how everything's happening all at once. Like, I feel that to be true.
All right.
But I don't really understand how that's possible or how that actually works.
Well, it's possible because there's actually only one moment in existence. Now. Therefore, there's only one place everything needs to exist in. Now and here. That's it. So it has to have the ultimate time-sharing program of the only place there is and the only time there is, here and now. Therefore, the different vibrations cause it to seem as if it's sharing that same now and here on different frequencies that then create the ability to perceive them without overlapping. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Well, you know, again, by analogy, that if you are watching one television program on your TV, you know there are probably hundreds of other programs playing simultaneously,
right?
Don't you? Well, don't they all exist at the same time for you? It's just that they're on different frequencies. So you only see the one that you're tuned to at any given moment. But if you change the channel, then you see another one of the parallel reality TV shows that was going on at the same time as the show you were just watching, and no longer perceive the one that you were looking at because now you've shifted your frequency. That's how it works. Simple as that.
But how is it possible that like 5,000 years ago was happening right now also?
Because it's just a different TV show. It's just a different program. You're just calling it 5,000 years ago because that's your linear perspective. That's your relationship to the show. But it's going on right now. It's just going on in a format you think is called 5,000 years ago. That's the play that's playing. Just again, as if you watch a television program that is about life 5,000 years ago. But it's still playing right now. Same analogy.
Okay, I see.
Does that help?
It does help.
All right.
And I have one more question, if that's all right.
Yes?
I'm very into the...
Oh, one moment. Let me check with the great overlords of the universe if it's all right for you to have another question. Oh, all right. They grudgingly say yes.
Have I been granted one more question now?
That was a question. So now you're using them up, asking if you can ask questions. Just ask the question.
Okay.
I will tell you whether it's appropriate or not for us to answer.
Okay. Well, I'm very into the law of attraction. And
Yes.
I see it working in my life all day long.
Yes.
Usually in little ways, but sometimes in really spectacular ways too.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it seems to me like there's still some times where my higher self or something steps in and kind of keeps me from something, and
keeps you from
or
something.
like kind of like ask me like, is this what you really want? Like, it'll give me
It's not
like a hint
about
of something.
Well, there's the idea. It's not about what you want. It's about what you need.
Okay.
There's a big difference sometimes between those. Sometimes they can overlap, but quite often what you want and what you need are very different things.
So even sometimes when I'm really focusing on one particular thing,
Yes.
and I don't get that, it's because it's not what I need, right?
It's not what you need at that moment. Maybe all you needed to do was learn how to focus.
Damn.
The idea is, do you trust the way your life unfolds?
Absolutely.
Yes or no? Then nothing is keeping you from anything. Everything that happens is exactly what you need at that moment. Use it in the best and most positive possible way, and you may begin to understand why that thing happened instead of something else. Remember, these things are nonlinear too. So A thing may happen in your life, and you may scratch your head and go, I do not understand why this is happening in my life right now. 10 years later, you may understand perfectly why it happened when it did.
Mm-hmm.
But 10 years later, from the higher mind, is right now. So the idea is that it just played out in your life in the way that it did linearly, because you're focused in a linear space-time perspective. But it had to express itself when it did in order for it to make sense to you when you caught up to the reason that it happened. So you would have the information you would need at that time by having had the experience 10 years ago.
I understand.
Make sense? You need to have a broader perspective of how all these things are interlinked rather than such a tunnel vision of linear reality. It's a much bigger network of things going on simultaneously that place themselves linearly where they need to, because that's how you need to experience it in order for it to ultimately make sense in the big picture of your entire life, not just what's happening with you at this particular moment.
That's what I'm starting to see, too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have so many questions.
So many questions.
Yes.
Are you sure that a lot of them aren't the same question in different clothing?
No, I'm not sure.
All right. Begin however you wish.
Okay. Are there any extraterrestrials that don't have any questions, or any beings, like, do plants have questions?
Yes, but not in the way that you understand that concept. It's a very different expression of consciousness, and it isn't really something that you can relate to in the way that you express it as a human. But everything is conscious. Everything is self-aware in one way, shape, or form, even though it may be a very alien form of self-awareness to you. But everything, in a sense, knows, if you want to call this a question, that it is being encouraged to be more of what it is. So it is always, in a sense, seeking. There is always mystery. There's always the opportunity to expand, to grow, to change, to express more of whatever it is. So if you want to say that that might be a series of questions, well, that's an analogy that can work, but it won't be exactly how those different life forms are experiencing it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So consciousness is similar to a state of questioning, or?
Well, in a sense, consciousness is self-awareness. It is the first reflection of all that is of itself, so it knows it is itself. So self-awareness is consciousness, and therefore it constantly expands as the reflections in a hall of mirrors continue to expand to infinity. So everything is in that state of self-reflectivity and self-expansion. Yes.
Okay.
Now, the structure never changes. The structure never grows. The hall of mirrors is the hall of mirrors. But the perspectives, the angles, the experiences constantly change, and that's how creation expands. But the structure of it never does.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Kind of, yes.
Kind of. All right. Good enough.
I'll have to listen to it again later.
If you say so.
I have a question about the physical body.
Yes.
And how negative beliefs affect it.
Well, I think you all have some experience with that, don't you? The first level would be called stress. The next level would be called disease. The next level would be called death.
Where did the first negative belief come from?
In the moment of the creation of existence itself, if you want to put it poetically or linearly, remember that once all that is was self-aware and became aware it is everything, then it is both positive and negative. Everything has positive and negative except the one, which is homogeneous and unaware of itself. But as soon as it became aware of itself, there is the Trinity. Positive, negative, the balance point in the center. So the idea of negative beliefs are inherent in the structure of existence itself. Make sense?
Yes. How do we love ourselves if we are one? We are just, we don't have something to,
How do you love yourself?
yeah. I mean, what is it that's loving ourselves?
You
You? We
and all that is. Remember, it's this and that, not this or that.
okay.
You have to understand that both sides, cause and effect, are actually one experience. One doesn't actually come before the other. Both are there simultaneously. So one reinforces the other. And from your linear perspective, sometimes it can seem as if one began before the other, but that's not actually mechanically the case. So all that is loving you unconditionally and allowing you as an aspect of all that is to also love yourself unconditionally. Yes?
Yes.
So it's all that is loving itself in all the ways it can.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anything
Yes.
else?
So our body is a dense energy field?
Yes, it's kind of a crystallized spiritual energy field. Remember that you're actually in spirit right now. You never leave. That's kind of your natural state. You're just dreaming that you've left. Physical reality is just a projection of consciousness. You're playing a game, pretending that you've left the spirit realm, but you haven't. You never do.
So
Make sense?
after the body goes away,
You're just
and dissolves.
expanding your focus. Because it's not really accurate to say that your spirit is in your body. It's more accurate to say your body is in your spirit. So you expand your consciousness focus beyond the physical realm, and in a sense you could say the body is reabsorbed, so to speak, back into spiritual energy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But it usually happens over time because body, the concept of your body, is a product of the linear space-time reality. Therefore, it follows those conditions. It follows those rules. Now, it doesn't have to. On our planet, at our point in our evolution, when we do die, our body just goes, it's just gone. Because we accelerate so rapidly into spirit. We leave nothing behind.
So there's less of a change in your consciousness?
There is less of a change in our consciousness, although it does expand. But we are already in our point of evolution quasi-physical, exhibiting both the qualities of physical and non-physical reality.
And you do have some time.
Yes,
In your
yes,
realm.
we understand the basic concept, but for us, it's much more flexible and malleable as it's becoming more so for all of you.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes. I have one more question.
Yes.
I had a dream many years ago about, I don't know if it was another planet, but I went to this place which appeared to be another planet, and all of the, there were rows of food growing, like vegetables,
Yes.
and everything was much more vibrant. And
Yes.
when I touched the vegetables,
Yes.
it was like they communicated with me, and they were,
Yes.
I had much more expanded consciousness.
What you
of them.
experienced was future Earth.
Oh. Okay. It was wonderful.
Well, yes, it is.
Yes.
Please again remember, everything exists simultaneously. Every possible version of Earth you can imagine exists alongside the version you're experiencing right now. You never change the Earth you're on. You change yourself, and you shift to another already existing version of Earth that is already more reflective of the change you made within yourself. But the Earth that you were on a moment ago still exists. You just keep shifting through different versions of it. Each version never changes. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
That's how you change. Because you are passing those parallel reality concepts through your consciousness. But from a linear space-time perspective, you experience it as if the change is going on outside you, in the world around you. It never is. You're changing and shifting yourself to different versions of Earth that are simply more representative of the change you made within you. You're doing that billions of times per second, literally. Billions of times per second. That's what time is. Time is a side effect of your consciousness shifting through billions of versions of parallel realities every second. Otherwise, if there was no shifting, there would be no movement. Everything would be a frozen snapshot. Make sense?
Yes. Yes.
All right,
does.
well then go have fun with that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Um, I didn't really have any specific questions, so I just talk about something.
That's all right. You can make a statement if you wish.
That's fine. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was excitement.
Yes.
The world is just fascinating to me. There's so many, the physical world, there's like so many different, areas and things and everything. Lately, I've become very fascinated with aviation and, flight and all of that. Can I talk a bit more about how that works? Where does that excitement come in, and um, how does that translate into, physical world? Because
Well, it can translate many ways. I mean, when we talk about the idea of acting on your highest excitement, as we often say, we don't necessarily mean that you have to be jumping up and down and running around like crazy with your hair on fire. We simply mean that excitement can also be translated as a sense of balanced peace. It just depends on what you're passionate about and what is appropriate and in alignment with you at that moment as an expression of your true self. That's what that means. So it can express itself in any number of ways. You can be excited about being tired and going to sleep. You can be excited about many different things. You can be passionate and express your passion in any number of ways. It's up to you as a unique individual to decide which expression is true for you at any given moment. And it can change from moment to moment. One moment you may be passionate about expressing yourself this way. The next you may be passionate about expressing yourself a different way. You have to follow the thread. But excitement is the thread. It is your path. It's the physical translation of the vibrational energy that is truly your signature frequency. That's what excitement and passion and love and creativity is. Does that make sense?
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not entirely sure why, sometimes some things excite me more than others and so on. Any
Because
reason?
right now, that's the thing that you need to really do. Again, it's the organizing principle. It shows you through what excites you more than something else that this is the thing you need to act on next. It's actually guiding you. It's actually laying things out for you in the order in which they actually need to be done that would serve you best. So if at the end of a day, when you're excited about being tired, you've accomplished only a certain amount of things by acting on your excitement, those are the things you needed to do that day and nothing else needed to be done.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I often feel very different from the rest of the people that I, meet. Like, for
Yes.
example, dreams I don't have as much, or, in terms of fear and all of
That's
that.
all right. Then that's your way.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about what that is exactly.
Everyone approaches this differently. Everyone has a different way of expressing and experiencing these things. Just be true to yourself.
Okay.
Yes?
When there's, certain meditative experiences or certain energy moving, sometimes I feel cold. Sometimes, the temperature feels a bit lower than what it was. Is there
Yes. Well,
some...
you may be dealing with different kinds of energy and acclimating to them. You may be processing them. You may be letting go of resistance to them. There may be many different reasons why those kinds of changes are experienced in the body when you're dealing with integrating new energies.
Okay.
Remember that in your science, the idea of becoming superconductive requires that your temperature be lower. Yes?
Yep.
To make sure there is less resistance to the energy flowing through. So
Right.
that might be one reason. You may be equating the idea of cooling yourself down to becoming more superconductive.
Okay.
Yes?
Yep.
Does that
makes
help?
sense. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Andrew, you good day.
So I have one question. So could you
Speak up, speak
okay,
up.
Could you tell me non-duality things? Non-duality. Non-duality? Yeah. Yes.
Non-duality.
Yes.
There is only non-duality in the one. That's the only place there is non-duality. But like I said, it's not really duality, it's a trinity. There is always the balance point in the center. So when there is duality, it's actually a trinity. And the duality begins with all that is, which is the first reflection of the one of itself that knows itself as the one. We simply refer to that as all that is. So the first reflection, the first self-awareness of the one creates the idea of the trinity that expresses itself as duality and the center balance point. But the one is unaware of itself. It's unbroken. It has no awareness, no reflection. There is no sense of an other. Therefore, there is no reflection that it is different than an other. So there is no duality there. There is only one. But that's the only level that has that. But it doesn't experience it because there's no experience in something that has no idea of itself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, then please all enjoy your refreshment break. We will resume this transmission afterward.
Oh, it's a good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Are you all excited? Yes. All right, workshop's over. You see how fast it can happen? Have a good time, good day. Now, allow us to begin by saying we have no idea what we're going to talk about. The reason I say this is to allow you to understand that when you live totally in the moment, you don't necessarily have to plan everything out, don't necessarily have to lay it all out before you do it. You can, in the moment, upon the realization of what needs to be done, simply call upon your connections to the infinite to bring through whatever information is necessary at that moment. You don't necessarily need to think about it a moment before. Just know that you will know what you need to know when you need to know it, and it will be there for you. This connects into the idea of living fully your excitement, being present, being in the now, and knowing that you are connected to all that is in whatever way, shape, or form at any given moment you need to be to bring through for you at that moment what you need most. Living in that trust, living in that assurance, living in that knowledge is the state of being that best reflects living your life to the fullest, living your excitement to the fullest. Now again, when we talk about the idea of excitement, you can use any kind of label you wish to represent that. We understand that words have different meanings in your society, and excitement, in a sense, can be many things to many people. It can be unconditional love, it can be joy, it can be bliss, it can be passion, it can be a peaceful state of mind. You don't always have to be jumping up and down to be excited. When we talk about the idea that we refer to in your language as excitement, we are simply talking about that vibrational state that represents you being in harmonious alignment with your true natural self. And the process of discovering your true natural self and being that true natural self is what it's all about in terms of having a life that allows you to experience ecstatic explosions of synchronicity and effortlessness and creativity and love and joy. It is the willingness to be who you really are, to discover who you really are and be that you. That willingness is all it takes to get the ball rolling, to start the momentum going, to bring into your life, to attract to you those things that are most reflective of what you need next, of what you need to look at, what you need to deal with, what you need to process, in order to add that knowledge and add that experience to your being so that you can expand and expand and expand and become experientially become more of who you were already created to be. There's a process of self-discovery, a process of awakening, a process, in a sense, of remembering who you are. As we said, that's what physical reality experience is all about. It's making choices. It's the ability to choose. It's the experience that choice brings you of discovering through all the choices you make who and what you really are as this particular personality in this particular parallel reality life. Now, yes, of course, the greater you, what some people may call the oversoul, obviously has a number of lives going on simultaneously in what you call parallel realities or past or future. All of those things coexist concurrently, simultaneously. But this you is unique, as all of the different versions are, all the different life experiences are, whether physical or not. Each aspect of your greater self is unique. And so even though you have many lives, this life will never happen again and has never happened before. This is the only life this you has. And so to make the most of it, to allow yourself to really experience, to really savor what this life is all about, the idea is that you have the freedom, regardless of what you have been taught, regardless of what you may still believe, you have the freedom at every given moment to choose who you prefer to be, how you prefer to act, what experience of life you prefer to have, that you believe is most representative of the you are, in your heart of hearts, in your deepest soul. Now, as children, many of you automatically understand what it is to live an exciting life. But of course, different belief systems that have developed within your society over time will often talk you out of continuing to live that exciting life as you grow up, as you mature. But the idea is really to learn to balance that, to learn to blend that, to learn to become a grounded adult who still understands the freedom of play, the freedom of creativity, the freedom of excitement in the way you understood it as a child. So it is allowing yourself as an adult to rediscover how you can integrate that excitement, that childlike attitude, that childlike gratitude for every moment of the day, for a total appreciation of your life in a way that is natural, in a way that is second nature to you, actually first nature to you. So that you can know with assurance that as you move through life and as you make decisions and as you make choices, you are constantly supported in whatever choice you make, to whatever degree you are willing to make it. You are never not supported by the universe. And this is the first element we wish to drive home with you with regard to the idea of living an exciting life. Is the understanding and the realization you are never not supported by the universe. Totally. Many of you can create an experience as if you are unsupported in a variety of categories and ways. But all that is happening is you are being supported in what might be a negative belief. The universe does not judge. All that is does not judge whatever belief you choose to experience. And if you choose to create a definition and a belief within your consciousness that says you are not supported, the universe will support you in your experience of lacking support. You are always supported, but you are only supported to the degree and in the manner your strongest belief says you are capable of being supported in. But you are supported fully in that belief, in that experience. Every single belief, as we have said, contains, in a sense, a mechanism that reinforces that belief. It creates a self-fulfilling reinforcement mechanism. It has to, by definition. If belief did not contain self-reinforcing mechanisms, you would not be able to have discrete experiences in physical reality. You would not be able to have a particular experience of a particular belief without other beliefs leaking in. And this is, to some degree, one of the things you are learning to transform, is the idea that you can have an overriding belief. An overriding belief that colors all other beliefs, that beliefs are easy to change, instead of an overriding belief that beliefs are difficult to change. The overriding belief that beliefs are difficult to change is part of the paradigm of the belief itself that is there so it will be reinforced so you can have that experience that the belief creates. But now, in your age of transformation, you are learning you can replace that overriding belief, that program, that equation, with another one. That beliefs are easy to change. So that you can simultaneously, shall we say, experience to whatever degree you wish to any particular individual distinct and discrete belief, but at the same time always leave yourself a key to unlock from that belief should you desire to do so when you are done with that scenario. This, in some sense, is the malleability, the flexibility that is required as children have it to shift very quickly from belief to belief to belief to belief, from experience to experience to experience to experience, creating a life that can go at any given moment in any direction whatsoever. So that you understand that every single moment is a zero moment and is absolutely not connected to the moment that was there before it, unless you believe it is. And that's the key. At every moment, you have the absolute and total ability to reinvent yourself, redefine yourself wholly, completely, and become a completely different person. That is another thing that it helps to begin to realize, fully realize, when it comes to living a life of high excitement, is that every single moment you actually are literally a different person. And the person that was there a moment ago is not the same person. And even though you may look in a mirror and see what you think is the same face that was there a moment ago, that is just an illusion of continuity that you are creating for convenience sake, so that you will not be deemed crazy or insane by your fellow members of society. But you could create such a distinct difference in the person from moment to moment that when you look in the mirror, you would actually see a different face every single time you look. Some of this ability has been demonstrated, as you say in your language, scientifically, medically, in cases of what you call multiple personality, where you can actually have one personality that actually has a particular physical condition, such as a cancerous tumor. But when they switch to another personality, the tumor is nowhere to be found. Instantaneously transforming because this personality never had cancer. It's not that reality anymore. That this can be done by individuals exhibiting multiple personality disorder shows you what kind of capabilities you actually have, and if you can, as you say, get a handle on transformation to that degree, and at the same time know that it doesn't have to be out of control, then you can also make the same kind of transformation instantaneously in any way, shape, or form you wish. And when you begin to understand that that's what you're already doing anyway from moment to moment, then you can, with more consciousness and more intention, guide the transformational change from moment to moment in the direction of your preference, in the direction of your excitement. Remember, That's what it's all about. It's not about learning how to do these things. You already know how to absolutely and completely and utterly do all these things. Create any reality, every moment, transform instantaneously, let go of one belief and latch onto another instantaneously from moment to moment to moment. You're doing it all the time. The issue is not learning how to transform. The issue is awakening to the choices you are making of what you transform from and to. Because you can create a sense of continuity in the beliefs that you choose that make it seem as if, from moment to moment, nothing much has changed. When in fact, from moment to moment, everything has changed. You are a completely different person and a completely different reality, literally, take me literally, every single moment that you experience. Any change at all, it's a total change, a complete change. You exist as a different person in a different universe, utterly. Utterly. So you don't have to worry about learning how to do that. It's automatically built into your creatorhood. That's what you do. You can't help yourself but create, moment to moment, a new universe. You are made in the image of all that is, and all that is constantly creating new ideas, new perspectives, new universe, constantly shifting its consciousness simultaneously and concurrently from every different possible perspective, and that's exactly what you're doing too. But you have created an idea. You have created an idea, a notion, a system of definitions, a system of beliefs that define a particular experience you call physical reality on Earth. And you have set up certain guidelines, certain parameters that you've all agreed to abide by to make it seem as if you are not doing all the things we are talking about now. Again, as an example, you talk about the idea, or your scientists talk about the idea that you only use 10% of your brain. No, you use 100%, but you use 100% to make it seem as if you're only using 10. That's what you're doing. You're creating an experience of only using 10% of your brains with 100% of your brains. So waking up to that fact is what will allow you to realize you can change the percentage anytime you wish. Anytime you wish. Because all you're doing from moment to moment is saying, I choose 10%, I choose 10%, I choose 10%, I choose 10% again, I choose 10% again, I choose 10% again. Why? Because I said I have to. Why? Because I said I have to. Why? Because I said I have to. That's all you're doing. You're creating an illusion of continuity with your choices. You can break the continuity. Now, I understand, again, because of belief systems within that particular paradigm, that the idea of breaking continuity can be scary because of the way you define the concept of breaking continuity. But what this is all about is learning to break continuity creatively. This is all artists do anyway. You're all artists. You're all geniuses. The idea of there being a fine line between genius and insanity is exactly this issue. The individuals on your planet that you call insane or have psychological disorders like the multiple personality disorder we recently mentioned, the only difference is that they are not aware of what they are doing in such a way that they can apply it creatively. They're not breaking their continuity intentionally and consciously. This is all about doing the same thing, but doing it intentionally and consciously and artistically and creatively. That's the only difference, and that's why you recognize instinctively, intuitively, that there's a very fine line between genius and madness. Because the idea of going from genius into madness is simply an idea of creating a belief system that allows you to forget that you are capable of breaking your continuity at will. And when you impose upon yourself the belief system that you are not breaking your continuity by choice, then you experience the thing called madness, or disorder. But when you understand that you are breaking your continuity by will, by choice, then you have genius and artistry and creativity. That's the only difference. It's an issue of understanding how to break your continuity by choice and liking it, enjoying it, and not being afraid of it. It's all about making a friend of the unknown. Making friends with the unknown. Allowing the unknown to be a place of excitement and surprise and discovery rather than a place of fear. Rather than something to run from. Rather than something to hide from. It's a place to go toward. The unknown is where you will discover all the rest of yourself. That's where the rest of you is. In the unknown. So you want to develop a willingness. A willingness. Not just to crawl there, not just to walk there, but to run there. Run to the unknown. Embrace the unknown. It only contains more of you. That's all the unknown ever contains. More of you. More ability to discover more of you. If it's scary, that's an opportunity to get in touch with the belief systems that make it seem scary. Because it's only your definition of the unknown that creates the experience of fear. There is nothing about the unknown itself. There is nothing about the unknown itself that generates fear. Only your definition of it generates the experience of fear. That's all. It's the only thing that works that way. So, embracing the unknown, making choices at will to break your continuity creatively will begin to allow you to truly experience what you have for a long time called magic, where one moment does not necessarily have to appear connected to the next, where your space-time reality begins to get very slippery, and you can all of a sudden begin, if you have not already begun, to experience such things as winding up somewhere and having no idea exactly how you could possibly have gotten there, getting somewhere in an amount of time that heretofore would have been impossible to get there in, and all sorts of experiences like that where you suddenly realize that you can do without some of the intervening continuity moments. The ideas of teleportation, the ideas themselves of shifting in time, the idea of expanding your awareness to many different lives and parallel dimensions of reality, all come from the willingness to break your continuity creatively. Now, up to this time in your history, it hasn't necessarily served you to do that, except perhaps now and then in a very random way when it served some particular purpose in some particular person's life. But now, in this day and age, the idea itself that you are in a day and age of transformation allows you to consider many more options, many more possibilities of what you can experience physical reality to be. Physical reality is very flexible, very malleable. Remember, it's just an illusion. It's just a mirror. It only reflects back what you give off. So just as your reflection in the mirror really has no substance, physical reality itself really has no substance and is, in that sense, a true will-o'-the-wisp. It will take its form only from what you believe it to be. Only from the solidity you impart to it with your definitions and your meanings and your beliefs. It is no more substantial than that. No more substantial than your idea of it. What is real is your experience. That's reality. Experience is reality. Reality is experience, not the things that are the props of the experience. The experience itself is who you actually are, is what you actually are. You are consciousness experiencing itself from all the perspectives it can. That's what creation is. Consciousness experiencing itself from all the perspectives it can. That's it. That's what reality is. And when you begin to get a handle on that, when you begin to be willing to break your continuity with that intention in mind, you open up a myriad of possibilities that heretofore were not experienceable in physical reality, because you are redefining physical reality itself. We have long said, and we will repeat this if necessary, we have long said the process of shifting, the process of ascending from one dimension or one reality to another is the process of realizing that you actually are the reality you previously thought you existed in. I'll say it again. The whole concept of ascending, the whole concept of moving from one reality level, one dimension, one density to another, is the result of realizing that you actually are the reality itself that you previously thought you existed in. So what we are saying is, you don't exist in physical reality, you are physical reality. It is you. It's just an extension of your consciousness. It's just an experience in your consciousness. When you recognize fully that there is no physical reality except for your experience of it, and that that's what reality is, that is what allows you to experience an expansion of your idea of reality as you experience an expansion of your idea of yourself, and that's what allows you to have the experience you call ascension, or advancement, or growth, or expansion. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Is there someone to whom it does not make sense? All right. Would you like me to explain more clearly in some specific way what I have just said?
But you can repeat it, please. Just repeat what you said.
All right.
Different words, maybe.
All right. Right now, most of you imagine or have been taught to believe that physical reality is a place in which you exist. You understand? You are being taught that physical reality is a dimension, and that somehow you, as an individual, exist inside that dimension. But you don't. The dimension exists inside you. It's just an idea. There is actually nothing out there. There is no out there. That's an illusion. It's a projection. It's all going on inside your consciousness. Does that make sense? So when you understand that you are not in physical reality, that physical reality is in you, that awareness in and of itself, that moment of being aware of that in and of itself, is the experience of expansion and ascension to a different level. Does that make sense? Does that help clarify it sufficiently? Or is there something else you wish to explore about this concept before we go on?